Why did I come here? So listen, the thing is, I feel like I'm being asked all the questions.
Yeah.
You have been waiting for someone to crucify. Now listen, the truth of the matter is,
we're terrible at marketing our own films, but there's another problem, is that the platforms, the exhibition spaces for those films are not yet really compelling.
If you are not paying attention to distribution in terms of where are our potential clients, what are they doing right now instead of watching our films, then we can do what UFF is doing. Me personally, I'm not very optimistic. I don't think the general audience, people like Joe and her friends, today, from the marketing I've seen today, are convinced enough that this is what they're doing.
I came across the UFF lineup. I saw it, I think, on Instagram or something. And my question was, where is this information and why is it not going down to people who are not part of the film fraternity?
we all have expectations. And whether expectations are met or not, it leaves you feeling a certain type of way. And of course, I know one thing in our industry. Our industry is very small. It's very tiny. And it being very tiny, it's easy for find someone who bruised you. And then you find them as a leader in a certain institution. And somehow you feel like that institution doesn't make sense.
What kind of institution, indoctrination, positive and social, what kind of institution is the Ugandan Film Festival? Is it a method of coercion and getting all people to make one kind of film or behave in a particular way? Or is it a free-form, anarchic, Kenneth-style free space where anything's possible?
That's the point. I'm not anarchist.
Anarchy's an anarchist.
I am not anarchist. I deny.
One, before I go to the question, I would like to say that your success does not necessarily depend on whether you've gone to film school or not. That's a matter of fact.
Yes.
Because I know, I'll give you an example of guys like Isaac Nabwana of Wakaliwood. How he's actually having so many people fly into the country from different film schools to come and study his method of making films with the lowest budget down in a ghetto in Kampala. But of course, when you look deeper, you realize he understood a method. He has his method. And this method now is being, brought in as a facilitator to teach other people about this method. He has mentored many other people into this. All I'm saying is find something, get better at it. So that before you know it, universe is actually inviting you to give master classes, even if you're a P7 dropout. That's basically what I'm talking about. Now, going to UFF. UFF has been here. It's now.
So let's be clear. Ugandan Film Festival.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So UFF,
Uganda Film Festival.
Yeah.
Uganda Film Festival.
Ugandan Fight Club.
No, Uganda Film Festival.
Yeah.
I'm not going to speak as a spokes for the for the film festival, but I'm going to speak as a film fraternity member because I've been here, I've seen things happen. 2013 is when it came in. We're here till today. I think we are making the 14th edition. And it's been a long journey, I think. And of course, when we talk about what kind of event, I should say it is, I think it is more about, one, empowering the filmmaker in the country to understand that we have your back, that you don't have to only think about opportunities being very far away from the border, beyond the border. There are opportunities here to celebrate you and your achievements. The opportunities here to build you, capacity building. Opportunities here to network. Opportunities here to bring people you see from very far and bring them closer to you. Opportunities to build an ecosystem. opportunities for you to understand that whether you want it or not, at some point we feel the government is against us, but there are so many people in there or departments in there that are for us. And we just need to understand, how do we actually meet halfway? That you guys are gifted, you have made yourself. The truth of the matter is, whatever UFF is contributing to is what the filmmakers have actually been able to do by themselves. You know, when you're submitting your film, they don't care about where you got the money from. It's about, is the film good enough? Does it make the cut for the jury to look at and then make a short list of the nominees, or does it not? Where you got the money is a different case.
I feel like you're taking a jab at me. My first short film was rejected.
Was rejected? My first short film was actually selected.
My film, that's 2013 when the first UFF.
Yes, I think that's the same.
Then I think because it has a sex scene. But it went in.
Oh yeah, he likes sex scenes in film.
He likes sex.
People say things like that.
He likes sex scenes or sex.
It was a film about HIV.
Yeah.
How do you make it?
My film was about HIV too.
Yeah, I think you're the guy who banned my film.
But all I'm saying is, it's the kind of course, there's a lot of there's a school of thoughts about the politics in the initiative, in the platform, but it's a government funded platform. You understand? And it is organized by a government institution, Uganda Communications Commission. You understand? Definitely, there's going to be a lot of thoughts about how do we do things that are in line with the yes, you understand? I've been talking to people who are beyond, filmmakers who are not Ugandan, and they dream to be participants in this festival, because apparently in the region it is one of the most powerful and well-organized festivals. And many of them are like, yo, you guys, you have something great there. And of course, to us, some of us, people think maybe it is actually not delivering as much as it should be delivering, which of course at the end of the day, we know you have your own interest. They have their own interest. Definitely, if you're organizing a festival for 1 million people, let's say, you cannot meet everyone's interest. Yeah. What you look out for is, how do I meet interest of the many and also not shoot myself in the foot? I think that's what
So I've got a question, which is like, what lessons has the UFF learned over time? What can you describe, like briefly, like the evolution, if you like, of the UFF? It started in 2013 as what, and it is now what? And what are the factors that made it the maturer, more successful festival it now is?
I feel like I'm being set up, but
honestly, it's a positive question.
Yeah, it is.
We all learn from our mistakes.
Because yeah. I feel, 2013, when you got rejected, and when I participated.
Just stop rubbing it in. Come on. Look, it was a really good sex
I hope you didn't give up.
It was
I hope you made more submissions. But all I'm saying is, back then, even the rewarding system back then, they were giving out they were giving people TV screens, they were giving decoders, they were giving out laptops. And as time went on, we realized the rewarding changed. The rewarding went monetary, and the rewarding also went to trips. You understand? People are going to Cannes. People are going to Cannes. People are going to Zanzibar Film Festival. People are going to festivals in South. People are going to Egypt. Yeah. People are going to South Africa. People are rewarded, fully paid trips to go and actually learn and network. Expand their circles, which I feel that's a huge thing. And of course, when you also look at the fact that it has revolved into embracing the regionals, because before the Uganda Film Festival was only Kampala. You understand? And many of the guys who were up country were like, you know what, all opportunities that are coming, they're actually stopping in Kampala, which means we, even if we're filmmakers, wherever we are, we don't matter. We have to actually get into buses to come for the big event, the biggest film event in the country. What about us? So that's how that's how the regional film competition comes into play. which has been, I think, now 3 years, where they create, as we head towards UFF, the first thing that happens is having film activities happening in the 4 different regions of the country: the northern, the eastern, the south, the western, and the central, where they take workshops. They take even guys who have made it big in the film industry. They take them to actually interact with filmmakers up there. You understand? The jury is typically local. The Ugandans. They take trainers, film schools, film institutions go and train people. And then, of course, there's a nomination. People submitted, they nominate films in different categories, and they award the winners, including cash prizes, which means you don't only have to wait for the big thing, because you may not make it there. These are like the top guns, you understand? When you look at the films that are competing, you're like, man, when will I? But they have brought it closer to you, which means if you know a guy in your village who won, it steers you to actually believe I can be the one next year. You understand? It's building more filmmakers up there, more actors and more performers, which is a good thing. And of course, all the winners in the 4 regions now end up in a category at the Uganda Film Festival, which is the best regional film.
Right.
So the best 4 films from the different regions now compete at the national level. You understand? And of course, everyone is invited for the film festival.
Yeah.
Everyone is invited. The other thing I saw mostly for this particular edition for this year, the films, I had a chance to watch some of the films, and I saw films that go to as far as Lango, and they are nominated.
What? Sorry, up north?
Yes.
Lango, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
There are films that are very far from the guys we know. Yes. But they are nominated and they are competing.
Yeah, can I just build on that point? So, like, as someone, maybe I'm going to speak for people who aren't so familiar with the regional dynamics of Uganda. So we have like a central kingdom, which is where the money and like arguably the cultural production is very concentrated in the central region. So what's the implication? Like, try and put this in universal terms. What are the implications of the regional competition? Is it that there's talent in those areas that we're not tapping into as a nation? Or is it like more kind of inclusivity, ticking a box?
One, I don't really think it's a ticking a box thing, because I have interacted with filmmakers who have come to my inbox because they heard about my name when people went to their region. You understand? It's more of opening the gates to understand that there is no gatekeeping. It's about you. Which means when you, for example, when you are a filmmaker in the Eastern region, and they bring people like Matt Bish, they bring people like Nana Kaga, they bring people like Doreen Mirembe, Nathan Magola, and they meet you guys where you are. It's up to you to use that link and contact the best way possible. Which means when you come to UFF for the event or the activities, you have some people physically, which was different before. Before it was the festival. When it happens, how you get there, it's up to you. You don't even know anyone. Yeah. But now when you're coming, you've met some of the trainers already. You understand? And then the other thing is, these regionals are held in different districts of that region. If it was Arua for this year in the northern region, next year it's in Kotido.
Yeah.
Which means filmmakers of all the northern region will move to go and attend activities in Kotido, which means there are more opportunities open for Kotido as a district. Which means there are more filmmakers who are budding from the different parts of the country. So I look at it more like an opportunity for everyone to understand we have your back. We have actually presented to you opportunities. The rest is up to you. Because I also heard about the fact that they're actually planning to set up film centers in the different regions where they leave actually equipment for such spaces, which means at the end of the day, your struggle of having a black magic or whatever camera you dream about it means it's going to be made a little bit easier, which I think it's a great thing.
I have a question. And in fact, I want to understand. So it's a question, but it's more of I want to understand. So here on the podcast, like I always say, I represent the audience, the people who are not part of the film fraternity, but would like to be or have had. So I came across the UFF lineup. I saw it, I think, on Instagram or something. And my question was, where is this information and why is it not going down to people who are not part of the film fraternity? Then number two, when they organize the film festival, are they trying to attract only filmmakers? Because if it is for the general Ugandans, the marketing is lacking because we do not know about it. You know that I'm always talking about Ugandan films. I have a page where I talk about Ugandan films and films in general. This is something I would like to tell my people to attend, but I don't know about it. Why is the knowledge? And I know you said you're not representing them.
Yes.
So I should not target you. But
very important.
for me, my opinion is that this information is so good. Like now imagine someone because every time we post on when we post our podcast, we get so many people who want to join the film industry. Now imagine that person out there has made their film. They're in Kotido. They didn't even know that there is that judges come and take submissions of your film and you could even win a regional. They have no idea. So where is this information? The information you're telling us, where can one find it so that they can share it?
One, I would like to say and emphasize this, that if you are a craftsman in an aspect, in a sector, remember that it's very important for you to come out and be part of a group. You need to belong, because many times there's information shared which is targeting you, but you don't find out because you decided to live on a certain island. You understand? And that's where the biggest challenge is. Because, for example, for the last, let me say, 3 years, when the regionals have been going on, I know this information goes out because these regions have associations. Yeah. They have guys who are maybe the presidents or chairpersons of those regions, and they always share information through those guys. Now, a person who does not receive information and they are a filmmaker in that region, it means there's a problem with them. You understand? That's I want to believe.
Douglas is saying it's your fault.
Yes, but no. What I'm saying is, if it's 3 editions and you have not heard about,
if you're a filmmaker,
and you really want to go places, and for 3 editions you have not, there has to be a problem. Why are others finding out and you're not? 2, where are you looking? Because if you really want. If your dream is going to Balinali, you understand? Balinali does not come to your personal inbox, your email, right? It means you're going to track Balinali websites and their platforms to find out what's coming. Whoever wants to go to ZIF next year or this year, they're looking at the ZIF platforms to find out what's up. Now, for the guys in the film industry, if your intention is to have opportunities, follow the platforms, official platforms for these platforms. You understand? There are social media platforms these days. UFF has, Uganda Film Festival has all social media platforms. UCC has platforms. And I know, of matter of fact, information has actually always been dropping on those platforms. That is for the filmmakers. Now, to the audience, there is, I would also admit, there is usually challenges in the way we market our things. Because at the end of the day, our question has always been, which is a question that many people have failed to answer.
You're talking we as filmmakers.
Yes.
Not as, you're not speaking on behalf of the UFF.
Not UFF.
Filmmakers have a problem with marketing.
Yes.
Yeah.
As filmmakers, we have a problem, first of all, with knowing who is our target market.
Yes.
From the word go, when people are writing, they fail to answer the question of who are you targeting, which is basically, it's business. You know, when you're going to start making passion fruit in your village, you don't just go buy passion fruit and start making, and then who are you selling to? You understand? Who have you talked to before you even sell? Do you know what they really want? Now, that's where the biggest challenge comes in for our filmmakers. Many of us actually don't know who we are targeting. All we are saying, we are targeting Ugandans. We are not specific and particular, which basically beats our entire strategy for marketing. Because if I know my target is Montua Wansi, where are they? What platforms do they
What's
use?
Wansi?
The layman.
Oh, right.
The common man, you understand?
Let's call it me and
No, this one is elite. This is elite.
There's many things I would call you, but common man is not among them.
So what I'm saying is that's where we definitely lose it, because it means whatever vehicle of marketing you're going to use may not land on the people. Now, yes.
Look, objection, my lord.
Yes.
I don't look like, I'm not saying you're dodging the question in any way. You are answering the question, but I want to cut through to a problem that I think, okay, forgive me, but I think you were trying to point out. It's not about like your target demographics. It's just like, get the message out, you know?
No, I was going there.
Okay, sorry.
Yes, I was going there.
I just want to say something.
Yes,
I was going
there because my thought is we have a bigger problem, a bigger challenge as an industry. I am into pushing Ugandan films. And always the question in my inbox on my posts is, but where do we find these films? Exactly. You understand? You post a very beautiful poster. Someone's like, yo, how do I get
even the trailer is like
yesterday in my inbox. Yes.
We released a review by one of our hosts, made a film called Imperial Blue.
Yes.
So he gave us a link and we put it on YouTube. And the link was
I'm dying. I have a good excuse for another episode.
We have a culprit already on the table here.
I know.
No, the thing
Look, look, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Okay, do you mind if I just chip in and before we come back to you? So like there's been a number of attempts to like create new platforms for viewing like Uganda films, and you know, people are doing great stuff trying to create new platforms. But I think let's boil it down. I want to cut away, strip off our clothes and stand naked and make a confession. Yes. We're terrible at marketing our own films, but there's another problem, is that the platforms, the exhibition spaces for those films are not yet really compelling, right? And I am going to point a finger at someone, you know, this is slightly burning bridges here, but I am not happy with the cinemas here. I don't think they're doing enough to push Ugandan films. And they have made valid complaints that like the Ugandan filmmakers themselves are not doing enough to like create a 2-week cinema run. You know, how can we overcome that obstacle? The cinemas aren't confident in Ugandan films because the filmmakers are not doing enough publicity. Yes. And the filmmakers are criticizing the cinemas for not supporting them well enough. Yes. Do we need a third way? Do we need a new system? Come on.
Yo, why did I come here? So listen, the thing is, I feel like I'm being asked all the questions.
Yes,
you have been waiting for someone to crucify. Now listen, the truth of the matter is, a while ago, some time ago, I was talking about the biggest problem that the industry has. The biggest problems that the industry, there are a couple of problems, but one of them is we actually lack resources. In resources, mainly the resource is money. Because we have got the resources here, we have got the social, capital, we have got the equipment, all those things we have gotten better. But actually the real money, because the camera is not enough for you to have a film go places, There's a huge team you need for it. The other thing is we actually lack the knowledge beyond knowing how to make a film. Mm-hmm. Because the knowledge beyond making a film is actually now, how do we run this as a business? Yeah. It's something that you hinted on a while ago when you said the important collaborations, which are, how do we now go back to the school institutions? The institutions which are, how do we get into a partnership with the Department of Commerce and Business at a university to have course units, them producing guys who are actually marketeers for film, for arts.
Because we
are lovers of our films.
Yeah.
When you make a film, it is your baby.
For you.
Yes, and you love it so much, but you need a guy who does not care about, who doesn't have that love, and their purpose is actually to just sell. You understand? We need to get partnerships with the lawyers, the legal friends, for them to sort our contracts and our discussions of bargaining. We need to get people who are doing things very far from just the making of the film.
I want to, first of all, say that at Ivota, part of our business is social marketing, right? And UCC, for just 7 million, we are going to put all our heads together to make this thing more known to the public than it is right now. Just for 7 million for this festival, one-time offer. Take it. Where do I look? Here. Okay. But anyway, what I'm saying is, distribution in general, I think that's what you're hitting on, right? Distribution in
And
general.
exhibition.
Yeah, distribution and exhibition, I think, I don't know, for some reason, it's hard. It has been hard for us to crack. And I see you're talking about maybe working with the Department of Commerce and so on and so forth. My impression is those guys, if they had a solution, they would have offered it. Those guys don't know shit, right? And the way we have to, I think for me, the way out, yeah? And I'm going to plug another thing we're doing. So we're also building a distribution platform, right? And we are now very happy where we are. Actually, we would like to partner with the UCC for this festival and pilot our platform.
It's too late. I think it's too late now.
It could be too late, but maybe even in the future, we are going to stay forever. We are going to basically take on film distribution. But the point is, first of all, we are ignoring which people are watching films, what people are watching instead of film. Yeah, I think for me, when I'm in the groups for filmmakers, most of them, that is the sense I get. When I was at Film Club, that is the sense I get. And even a big part of this conversation, we've not talked about TikTok, for example. We are talking about film school and whatnot, but we've not talked about TikTok, we've not talked about AI. And this is where people are. This is how people are going to consume content who would have otherwise, or in another time, would have been watching movies. And if we are not paying attention to distribution in terms of where are our potential clients, what are they doing right now instead of watching our films, then we can do what UFF is doing. Me personally, I'm not very optimistic. I don't think the general audience, people like Joe and her friends, today, from the marketing I've seen today, are convinced enough that this is worthy of their time, right? And I don't think this is a fault. For UFF, this is not a fault of the filmmaker. You don't go to Cannes to watch someone's movie. Yeah, unless you're one of the film crew. You go to Cannes for the festival. You understand? You go for the festival, and then when you get and see Dev's movie, you're like, wow. Actually, the best part about the experience of the festival is to watch films you didn't know you were going to see there, right? Or you didn't know how good they would be, right? And that is what makes a film festival specifically work. But the marketing of the festival, making the festival fun, UFF can compete with Nyege Nyege. There is no reason why we don't have music at UFF, right? There is no reason why why the exhibition is not as powerful as Nyege Nyege. Go to have fun, go to drink, go to pick up girls, and then watch my movie by mistake, right?
Yes.
But that is, I think, where our focus has been left is distribution in general. We are not looking at, maybe I'm biased also on this. We're not looking at film as a product that has to be sold. Coca-Cola. We drink Coca-Cola, even if everyone knows Coca-Cola is basically poison. We drink Coca-Cola almost every day because you cannot look away. You go, there is a Coca-Cola billboard. You go on YouTube, there is a Coca-Cola ad. They are basically throwing that data in you, and that is why you drink Coca-Cola, even if you know you're killing yourself. And the equivalent, we can do it for something good. We can do the same marketing approach. Yeah, and just for 7 million, we will litter UFF.
I have a submission. So I think you all know that I'm studying marketing, so I'm a marketeer. Consumer behavior is what he is talking about. And that is what's lacking. That these films are being made, but why are we making them and for whom? Who is going to be our target market, like he has said? And as such, if you don't have a target market, you cannot position yourself right. Now, back to UFF. Yes, you've made this festival. All the filmmakers know, because you have said, well, in a way, that if you're in the film industry and you've made a film, you should know because you're looking for these websites. Now, who attends these film festivals? The audience, because you want the audience to show up. And this is the same thing I said about Ugandan films when they premiere. Yeah, you have this first premiere day where they give out free tickets or majority of the tickets to the crew and people within the film fraternity. So you're going to show a very successful film premiere, but then the next day the films are not sold. Now the tickets are not sold. Now this cuts into Dev's submission earlier, which was about cinemas not wanting to give Ugandan films space. And I understand the cinemas, because if the films are not marketed well enough, why should they put space for them at, let's say, Century? Because Century will say, okay, we gave you the space, but only 5 people have showed up. Only 3 people have showed up. Whereas Warner Bros., Lionsgate, they are marketing their film. They are pushing it so people know, let's say, about Michael. And 50 people have showed up for it. You made your nice film. It is a very good film. No one is arguing about that. But no one knows about it. And I get so frustrated because I keep on asking, who are you making the film for? Is it just for you and your film fraternity? So now this festival, is it just for UCC and the film fraternity? Because if it is for Ugandans and for people, yes, make it a festival. A festival isn't just about the main subject, yeah? If the main subject is movies, Ugandan films, yeah? Wrap that around the music, because music is part of the films, right? Bring in artists. It won't cost that much. After all, you've said it's government funded. The money is there, right? No.
Listen. We're not going to make claims. One, you all know, for example, I can give you money for your first film, yeah? And I will tell you I'm giving you a grant for your first film. Now, when I give you a grant for your first film, I can basically jumpstart you. And then I tell you, make sure from that you make enough partners for your next film. This event or your film has to go on, yeah, every year. Now, the thing is, we have all had the assumption that actually these guys are given money all the time. I don't know. I don't want to confirm. But all I know is there is a lot that is done to actually keep the festival going that we don't know. You understand?
Under
but of course, for us, yes. But for us, we all always believe this money is actually, there's a budget every year, which is sent from above for these guys to run this thing. You understand? But we are actually talking about the same thing. And our biggest challenge is, even when we are given opportunities like these, as filmmakers, our tendency and problem is we've failed even on our own. You understand? Now, these screenings, there's an entry fee. And part of this money is actually going to the producer. You understand? And it was done in such a way that, because screenings were free before.
Yeah.
They were free. When you're talking about the evolution of this festival, in the start, the first editions, screenings were free and they were empty. Because one, the filmmaker did not care to actually push. There was nothing for them. Now, what they decided was to get into partnership with the cinemas, and they said, you know what, let's put a fee so that the producer gets something. You understand? Now, it goes back to the fact that I have given you a venue basically free of charge in a controlled, well-quality space of a cinema. What you're going to do is actually push for your screening. You understand? As a producer, push and make sure there are actually people in the cinema, because every head, every butt on the seat, there is actually, I think it's 60-40. Yeah. You understand? Now, I have also seen the films that will feel are not as big as the others actually fill cinemas.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I know there are films that, yes.
So, like, they take you by surprise. There's, like, a film you were like, you never even heard of it, and it's full house.
Yes. And do you know what these
How
guys
is that
do?
happening?
These guys actually doing marketing where you don't see. Do you know what these guys do? These guys actually walking door to door. Selling. You understand? They do, yes.
I understand that. One thing I want to say is, as a filmmaker, if I can market my film to fill the theater, I don't need UFF. That is for sure, right? So if you're telling me that part of showing my film in the festival is to give me a cut of my own marketing, that is...
No, you're looking at it wrong in a wrong way.
No, I know.
What we're saying is this. One, there was no payment of a screening fee in UFF. Yet I've actually been a part of festivals. For example, there's a time I was part of a team which was organizing the Euro Uganda Film Festival, short film festival. And we actually paid filmmakers money as a screening fee. I think it was around, it wasn't much money, but they were short films. It was already a good thing, you understand? Now, UCC was actually not paying screening fees for people, and they were actually screening films, which means it was you giving your film for free. And this time round, we are looking at it as a win-win. Number one, the money would have actually spent to hire a space at the cinema, which is money that has actually been settled for you.
Yes. I get your point. I want us to think about UFF as a different, let's look at UFF as a company, right? UFF should have clients, people who come to pay to make UFF exist. And UFF should have vendors, the filmmakers, the people that UFF pays to have a product to sell. You understand? Yeah? If we look at it that way, UFF shouldn't, from what I'm hearing from you, UFF may be positioning itself as an institution that's doing a favor for filmmakers. What it should position itself as a film festival that is targeting film fans to come and watch Ugandan films. And it is looking at the filmmakers as vendors. So it should be marketing the festival as its own thing. And it should have a brand. Me wanting to go to UFF should be something I'm looking forward to. You know, the same way we look forward to Nyege Nyege, the same way we look forward to, I think it was Blankets and Wines and whatnot. The same way we look at those events. That is how UFF should brand itself. So I don't have to rely on the films I'm going to see. I'm coming for the festival experience. Yeah? Of course, my recommendation would be pay some semi-nude women, put alcohol. These are things that sell. I don't know. We can pretend that these things don't work, but we know that is the formula.
Yes.
People go to Nyege Nyege to see the South African women in their panties. This is the truth, unfortunately. This is the truth. UFF should pick a leaf. We should fire intellectuals from these things of fun. All these guys with degrees and diplomas, we should fire them and get Balam. And get get real promoters to come and do some work.
Not Balam, please.
Okay, not Balam. Yeah, I
thanks.
misspoke.
He is a minister. He is a minister.
But we get like real underground promoters because we want UFF to be its own brand. So I would be honored to have my film in there. So then I'm competitive as a filmmaker to have my film there because UFF itself has its own audience. You understand? But right now, if I'm going to contribute to bringing the audience, if it's going to be Kabalo for that, why do I need them?
I think, like I said, I'm not representing
of course.
UFF. And I want always us to remember and think about the fact that we are let's say 200 filmmakers, 200,000 filmmakers, let's say. You understand?
Wait, where? You mean TikTok?
No, in Uganda.
But there aren't 200,000.
No, I'm just giving
a few hundred.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Okay. Let's say 20K.
Yeah.
Yeah. 20,000 filmmakers. Yeah. Now 20,000 filmmakers. The truth of the matter is, our question would be, what's the actual intention for the organizers of the event, and what's their target? What's their KPIs?
Good.
You understand? Right. Because sometimes
KPI, key performance indicators. Yes.
Sometimes for us, we be here thinking about things, but they're in our heads.
Yeah.
And the guys were thinking, for example, someone might organize an event and they say, but why would we have had a saga about the Rolls Royce? Yeah. And the conversation about the Rolls Royce,
yes.
You know, and how people were basically saying, how much would have been done with all that money? You understand? The question is, what was the person's thought when they were actually purchasing? Whatever this is, you understand? When you are doing your things and whatever you're doing, your intention of this podcast, you have your reasons for doing this.
We have an agenda.
You understand?
Yes.
And someone will look at you and say, but what are these guys adding on? What is their contribution to the industry? Because there are many. I know people for a fact, I can even mention names, who think critiques are wastage of time in this industry.
Yeah.
You understand? There are guys who
Joe agrees with that.
Yes, there are people who have told me, there are people who have actually come out openly to say, it doesn't make sense for you to start injecting and treating a dead body. If a film is done and it's done, it's already out there, why are you saying things about it? And that's their thought. Those are filmmakers that we're dealing with. You understand? To them, they believe that's a dead body. Why are you treating it? Why are you running a post-mortem? To them, they believe it doesn't make sense. You understand? Now, those are the kinds of guys you're dealing with, who are basically feeding, and they know what they want must work. Now, they forget about the entire fact that before whatever they're saying is being shown to them, you sat down and drew a plan of what you actually want to achieve. You understand? And your achievements, you will actually keep making all the noise and you rant and all that. But the guys up there basically being congratulated. Guys, you did it better than you did last year.
Yeah.
And it's gone, you understand? So at the end of the day, I feel our judgment and conclusions about the success probably is different from what they are looking at it.
I see. So if they're going to brand themselves as Ugandan Film Festival, as a filmmaker, I'm entitled to running the film festival. So, this is a question. Yes.
That's a school of thought of a person who does not want roles.
No, I'm saying this is not.
You understand? That's a school of thought of an unruly person.
Yes, every
who basically comes and says, no, I think it is supposed to be that.
No, I'm saying I'm not going to make a play to what? To take over UFF, which I can, by the way.
No, you can't.
I'm not going to make it because it's the waste of my time. Right?
Oh,
yes. But I'm saying you too, Douglas, as a filmmaker, should feel entitled to a film festival that, first of all, is government funded, that brand itself as the Ugandan Film Festival, because it is carrying your brand as a filmmaker within it. You should feel entitled to, if I want to take on this thing, where do I start? And these conversations are what move the festival forward.
And
how we open up the leadership for the festival, right?
And Ken, the truth of the matter is, from 2013, UFF has actually been opening doors to suggestions.
Who is UFF?
I mean, the organizers.
Who are these people?
No.
You understand? You understand?
People are.
The truth of the matter is,
UFF.
The truth of the matter is, they have actually been taking suggestions. That's why you see they dropped whatever they were pricing, whatever prices they were giving out, because it was suggestions that came from filmmakers, which was a good thing.
Giving out?
They're giving money.
How much?
This information. No, but they're paying. Okay, no, we're not saying they're not improving.
That information is. Why are you saying
I'm saying this information isn't out there.
I think too. This winning is more to the fraternity than even to the general public. But I understand what you're saying. Yes. Every time the festival is run, information is actually released about. I mean, usually even the show is even running on NBS or some of those platforms live. The awards. You understand? Sometimes the truth of the matter is some people are actually not even interested in some of the things. I'm telling you reality. But the thing is, yes, there's cash prize for every category.
There are trips. You mentioned all these
There are trips. I mentioned these things before. People are going to
get them and
No. What I'm saying. I mean, first of all, they rejected my film. So
the thing is, the truth of the matter is, as a fraternity, we have got to remember sometimes we actually need to come out and sit on the round tables.
Yeah.
And I think 100%. At some point you told me before I think we started shooting, you were asking me about some of the things that I feel excited about in the industry where we are right now. I think the mushrooming or the entire idea of guilds and association is a great thing. You see what you feel right now, this would be information easily presented through your president.
But how much time do we have for guilds?
Because it is this same podcast where someone talked about the mafia guilds.
Yes.
Because I know the truth of the matter is we need to remember we all have expectations. And whether expectations are met or not, it leaves you feeling a certain type of way. And of course, I know one thing in our industry. Our industry is very small. It's very tiny. And it being very tiny, it's easy find someone who bruised you. And then you find them as a leader in a certain institution. And somehow you feel like that entire institution doesn't make sense. Because of a personal relationship with a person. And we have so many filmmakers, actually. I know of a fact that there are people who have refused to join some things because there are people they don't like as part of those.
And to get to the top of an institution,
I don't want to get into guilt because my personal experience with guilt is bad. But that is a conversation.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
point stands.
What I'm saying is, you see, the organizers of the festivals or whatever initiatives that are coming up will not reach every person. Yeah. But it makes it very easy for us to actually have a common.
Yes. For me, my problem is the mysterious organizers. If this is a public service, if this is a Ugandan funded thing, why shouldn't I know who runs the festival, how I can apply to run the festival, where I can put my... Because me, to be honest.
But it's not up for... I don't think it's up for a bidding.
No, not for bidding, but Ugandans, as a Ugandan, I should know, as a filmmaker, most importantly, I should know how I can take over the festival.
This company is going to run.
Well, like I said, there's some question I'm going to answer. But me, I want us to... You see,
if they hired Givota, let me just make my point, right? If they hired us next year, because this year it may be too late, we were going to give them clear deliverables, and we won't take their money. We won't even take their money unless we've met all those deliverables. Next year we'll charge at the M. This year we are charging 7 M.
We do understand what you're trying to do. This is capitalistic, you know, all the time. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm been part of this industry and I've seen things. And I've also realized many of the people tend to look more on what has not been achieved rather than what has been achieved. For the matter of fact, being positive is whatever's been achieved for the UFF or by UFF is actually a lot. You understand?
My version of being positive is, how can we achieve more?
Yes, I know.
Yes.
But because at the end of the day, this is a pitch. Mm-hmm. You're going to, in your introduction, you're going to actually first embrace a lot of the good things that have been done. Yes. Because this is basically saying, you know what?
But you see, the problem for me I have with that conversation. Yeah. Right? The problem I have with the conversation of protecting our gains. Yeah. Mm. The problem I have with it is what? It's a conversation stopper. Because I accept their gains. UFF again, if for example I submitted my film, it would probably win the trip. You lost one.
This guy was rejected once, and he stopped trying.
No, but that's a joke. But my point is, the conversation of protecting our gains is sort of a conversation blocker for people who say, yes, I accept things have really improved, but the ideas of how we can make these things better, but we don't have a way of sharing these ideas. You understand? Yeah. The path, the speed at which these gains have come may not be quick enough for most people, right? And the goal is, if you actually put me on the table, if UFF said, Kenneth, this is how you join the UFF board. These are your qualifications. You know, they say you need a PhD in film. I start now. I go to MOOC and apply for my PhD. Yes, because now I love a reason. They say these are clear guidelines of why these are the people running UFF, and this is how you make it to run UFF, right? Because it's a public thing. There, we know. You know, we come here, we critique the guys, because instead of saying the organizers, would be saying, Luswata, would be calling the people's names out. Okay, I don't...
Because I usually all know who the jury are.
We know the jury. I'm talking about the organizers, the guys who sign checks. I don't care about the jury.
Ken, we do understand and we do appreciate. And the truth of the matter is, definitely we need to have accountability. Because at the end of the day, this is a good thing for all of us, you know, and we always want to see how things get better. And of course, I do believe and I do understand. My only concern usually comes in the way of how we actually approach such questions. How do we present such questions? Because sometimes people are presenting such valid questions, but in the wrong way. Yeah. You instead end up making someone ask, like, you know what, actually, guys, you know what, if it's not working out, let's drop it. Mm-hmm. And the point is going to be, if at all it is dropped, then what's the benefit for all of us? You understand?
What are these people who have so much power that they can wake up and choose to drop it?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is,
having a festival.
Ken, what I'm saying is, we need to learn to know how to ask questions and how to present our requests. That is what school puts in us. We stop being rugged.
Now I can write those letters.
You stop being rugged. We stop being gorilla. You understand? We stop being this thing of who are they to refuse? No, we need to remember their systems, their structures. Trust me, Ken, when you write a letter to even the ED, it will reach.
Yes.
You just have to know who to address. When you go up there, go to the festivals, meet these guys, go to the events, ask who do I talk to about this? Trust me, you will not fail to know who. You know where UCC is. In Bugolobi, you go there and say, I'm here because of this and this. Which officer do I talk to? Because you are not there to actually break. You're there to make things actually.
Can I come back to what I think is a really interesting point that was raised earlier?
Yes.
Which was about like embracing the public with the festival. So I want to approach this question with a kind of open mind. And what I would say is this: it doesn't have to be naked women and music pushing the festival. Although I would
maybe not the music.
Maybe. Ken, you're fine. I would like to think about it in terms of like FOMO, fear of missing out. And I'd also like to approach it in terms of like, what is a film festival for? And there's so many different things a film festival can do. And I want to start and finish with the obvious ones, but you might think of some more. One thing is like really obvious, showcasing new films to the public. Second one, for buyers, right? When you look at the big film festivals like Cannes and Berlinale and Durban, there is much about the market as about the actual aesthetic, artistic side of it, right? It's market driven. We don't yet have these distribution platforms that are satisfying us, but they could emerge from this interaction between filmmakers, the public, and the festival itself. Another one would be like, and this is really what I feel passionate about film festivals, is just art, giving art a voice. So it's not normally seen and heard, and a festival is like a cool space for art to emerge. It might not be financially successful, it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it's a place where Kenneth can push his weird films, and they, it's kind of like, it's art for art's sake. It's a great purpose of a particular kind of festival. So fear of missing out, and then these like different purposes of the festival. Such a broad, vague, badly phrased question. Go for it. All right, start with FOMO. Start with FOMO and the purpose of the festival.
The FOMO.
Yeah.
Yes,
fear of missing out.
I do feel and definitely goes back to the way we handle our own personal projects before we even get, because now a festival is now like everyone comes and brings their arts, when you look at the way, let me give an example, the way musicians treat their work, you'd find that every brand stands alone. So it goes back to the way each and every project is handled. You understand? If at all, for example, if I ask you which film people are most excited about in the festival right now, it might probably be Slam Bomber or Adui. Mm-hmm. Because those films have actually tried to make noise before the festival. You understand? The others you may not know a lot, because even you first knew about them when the list came out. You understand? Because that's the biggest challenge, that now if each and every one of us cannot create an excitement or a fan base on your own, it means it's now going to even be harder when all of us are put together, because all of us don't actually have don't have a fan base. Yeah. Now, for the musicians, if you're going for an event, they will say you're going to pay 50K. And you know the lineup. If you don't like so-and-so, you like so-and-so. You understand? And so-and-so comes with a huge pack of people who are coming to watch them. So it's going to mean the entire venue of 20,000 people is going to actually be packed of people who came because they want to see so-and-so, and then they end up actually consuming everyone else. So before we actually throw all the blame onto the organizers of this particular event, one, we're going to remember what actually they are chasing for. themselves. Two, what do we actually want to achieve ourselves individually? If your film is screening in the cinema, what do you want to achieve? Because next year you're not going to have the same film. How do you use this opportunity to actually say, my film was in the screenings of UFF, Uganda Film Festival, and now it is coming to you in Masaka? You understand? It's going to also become a personal initiative. As a person, say, you know what? This opportunity is actually big for me because I want to use it. Next time I have a film, I want to say the first time my film was in cinemas was during the last UFF. Now, this is going to challenge the other guys who are actually running the big festival to say, guys, you know what? I think the cinemas are small. Why is every film screening once? People want more. You understand?
So, okay. I'm going to, again, talk. Now I'm going to put on my marketer's hat, right? I'm going to talk in terms of like data and stuff like that. First, the brand, right? For me to brag as a filmmaker about how good, rather how it is a privilege that my film showed in UFF. UFF has to be such a brand, right? And I think, I don't know about ZIF now, but by the time I showed at ZIF, it was a big brand. It was a very big brand. If you have a stamp in 2013, if you have a stamp of ZIF on your film, most other festivals are willing to give it a look, right? They're willing to consider it just because it was in ZIF. And UFF today, I don't know internationally if it has the same feel with it, right? But even locally here, for UFF to stand out as a brand on its own, it has to actually invest in branding the festival. Yeah? For me, what I'm hearing you say is filmmakers cannot afford to have their movies in the theater. What UFF is doing is basically giving you, you know, the way you bought a camera, it's giving you a big screen sort of for rent, right? And if you get to show your film at this festival, you know, that is something to brag about, to know that this, my film was there. But I think for me, the better approach to take UFF would be treat filmmakers as vendors, make it very, very competitive to join UFF, and treat film watchers as clients. Market to them, make sure everyone wants to come to UFF. Yeah. Again, obviously, I'm joking about how to do the marketing, but this is something that can be studied. You know, you can figure out how to market it over a specific amount of time, and make sure that when these films are showing, the theaters are full. There are other post-film events, you know, things that make the experience worth talking about, so that as a filmmaker, when I'm making my film, I'm rushing the editor to make sure that the cut is ready before what? UFF. And the pipeline for most films is, I want to release my film, submit it to festival secretly, and then when it gets accepted, that's when I want to use that opportunity to market and to say to people that, hey, look, you should see this film on Netflix, or you should go to the theater to see this film at the premiere because it was accepted or not in this so-and-so festival. But if UFF is asking the filmmaker to, on top of giving you my product, to again invest as a producer to market your festival, I think that's a little bit of a disservice. Again, that's my opinion on that.
No, sorry to cut you off. What Douglas was saying is that the people making the films have to go, besides just looking at UFF, you market your own film. He cited Slam Bomber, and he said they have tried to market, which I'm also saying tried because I don't know. We are few. You said we are very few people who talk Ugandan films or who talk even African films. We are few. And when I see those people, I'm not talking about Slam Bomba and how it's going to be showing at the UFF, it means there is a slight problem in who are you marketing to, how are you marketing? And then whenever we mention marketing, people say money, resources. You don't need money or resources to market a film. You don't. And that's what I now like about technology, that the amount of money you put in production and all of that, it's not necessarily the same amount of money you need to market a film. But the problem is the film industry, you guys in the film fraternity still think that marketing means getting a big billboard, getting spreads in newspapers. Those things are very expensive. But if, let's say I was the producer of Slam Bomba, how would I market the film? First off, have your behind-the-scenes footage, litter it all over social media. create traction, let people be able to talk about Slam Bomber. Like, I haven't seen the film, but I should be talking about, did you see that, babe? Did you see that stunt? Did you see the same thing Spider-Man is doing right now? There is no difference with how they market, the way they market films, Hollywood films and Nigerian films, it shouldn't be any different from how we market our films. But we are just looking at it as, I need a budget. I need a budget. No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
No, open up a page.
I'm actually.
You don't need.
Okay,
you
guys,
don't
we have
need-
to, by the way, I have talked too much, but I need to run. I don't know if I should leave you guys to finish. And I
You
don't
don't
know.
need
How's
a
that?
big budget.
You have to go.
You don't need a big budget to market a film. That's what I'm trying to say. Because it is something that people have, and it's what stops filmmakers from marketing their film. They will all tell you, I don't have a budget for it. I don't have a budget. Do you need a budget to open up a TikTok page or an Instagram page? That's just for starters. Because now when we go into the big leagues, I will tell you, hire influencers, bring them on set. The ones who are within your niche, yeah, like your film industry. Or if you want to go big, you can hire the big ones. The goal is to get people talking about your film, right? That's what we all want. I think that's what filmmakers want when they make a film. That way, by the time your film is showing at UFF, the audience is there because your film, people want to watch it. But right now, if I'm to ask the people that, let's say, follow me, or the people on other platforms, do you know Slam Bomber? Do you want to watch it? They're going to ask, what is that? Then now you have, and I think you also market Ugandan films. And that same challenge that you get is the same one that I also get. They'll ask you, where is it? Where can I get it? What is the film about? Where is even the trailer? Like, why are those things so hard to find? Yet you went in and used money to make this film. But your trailer is hard to find. Your promotional materials, do they even exist? That should now even be the question. They are hard to find. So I understand what you're saying. We approach this not from a critique way. First, we have to appreciate that the festival exists. And I want to be part of it, and I'm going to be part of it. I wish more people would know about it and also show up.
One, I do appreciate, I think, the feedback. I'm appreciating as if I'm part of the
UFF.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I feel like I'm a spokesperson.
No, but you know more about it than we do.
But I do appreciate, definitely this feedback is very important. And I also know that we wouldn't be having this conversation if there was nothing to talk about. It means there's something that's going on. All we need is having it steered to actually, get the right energy. Two, I also think right now whatever's been released has been more into the small circle of the filmmakers. That's the matter of fact, what I know. Because I know whatever artwork has been going out to, because the belief is this is before the big budgets of pushing this thing, it's more about, Dave, you've been nominated. Your film has been nominated. Let the news go out. Two, your film is going to be screening. Let the news go out. So if we have 15 films that are nominated and they are screening, we are looking at the fact that all these 15 films, they have a cast and crew of around, let's say, 30 people. And what we are looking at, if we have 15 times 30, it means we have already, even before we go mainstream or big budget marketing, we already have this that needs to make the noise, which already means at the end of the day, if it's not being felt, like I said, we already have a problem starting from individually the filmmakers. If at all there is not noise about your film being nominated or screening, it means before we even put its trailer on a mainstream TV to run, it means the people who are closer to you, who are most likely to actually buy and come for it, because we know social media can create the hype, you can have the trend, but actually you don't have people in the cinema. You understand? And of course, like we know, there's always been a challenge of after one screening of the premiere, then what? After all this entire trending and the buzz on social media, we actually need numbers of people to come to the cinema. Now, that's how people who are making films that are not of huge budgets are going to sell where we don't see. Where you know that their target is not the social media. There are guys who actually go and vend, they hawk those tickets door to door. They go downtown to Chiseka Market, and all the guys in Chiseka Market actually know these projects. You understand? You go to sports betting places where guys, because I know Slam Bomber is a sports film, it's a boxing film. And when you go to these places, the people they actually targeting to come and see, they actually know the film. You understand? When you go Owino Market, where they're...
You can even use the VJs to market the film.
And that's what has been done, you understand? So at the end of the day, we have also appreciated and understood there are guys who have refused to acquire new knowledge. Which new knowledge is, how do I run a social media platform? There are those who have deliberately refused because they are like, I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to make sure when I have a premiere at Bat Valley Theatre, at Club Obligato, at National Theatre, I have my audience that are not filmmakers that are coming to watch. You understand? And we ask them, guy, we know you have a premiere. What's up? You're not saying anything. No, I'm not selling to filmmakers. I am selling to the people. So I have gone down there and I've sold booklets and booklets of tickets, and I know I'm going to have 3 screenings and they'll fill out. So we also have that entire challenge of guys who know how to make films perfectly well, but they don't know how to sell. And then there are those guys who are not so good at all the conventions of making film, but selling their film. I mean, these guys have real audiences down there. You understand? The point of, an actor who causes traffic jam. We have them here. You understand? And guess what? They are not in the big shows that we know. They are not. They don't speak the cleanest English. They're speaking Luganda. And when you step down on the streets with them, people will stop. People will ask for photos. And that's the thing.
Joe, last word on the marketing aspect, or what would you like to say to Douglas as a kind of concluding remark?
I like what he's doing. By the way, I like that you're here on our podcast, because I'm hoping you'll also have us on your podcast. Because collaboration is good. That social structure that we've talked about is really good in this industry, because we are few. We are few. Let them give us the movies. Let us talk about the movies. What we've always emphasized here on the podcast is we need Ugandans to watch Ugandan films. We need that. Like, for every Ugandan who shows up at the Uganda Film Festival, that is an achievement. Not just for UCC, not just for the filmmakers, but even as Ugandans. Like, we need that patriotism. When Kenya does its festival, it's a big deal. It's such a big deal, and you even get jealous. You're like, oh, okay. It's something they talk about. Like, they sell out for them, they do it at different cinemas, not just one.
No,
I don't know if
UFF is at 3.
You have 5.
Five, yeah.
Okay, so they have different places and they market it, they push it, and everyone knows, people show up. Like, for us, I feel we shall organize it, and then we shall say those who know will come.
Which festival are you talking about in Kenya?
Is it Palasha?
Yes.
Yeah.
And even there's one that they even had last year, towards the end of last year.
Oh, the one in Kisumu.
Yes, the one.
Yeah.
Yes, they have so many festivals, but they really push them. They push them not just in mainstream, but they push them, like, they get everyone in the industry to be talking about them. And so people know. Like, the UFF festival is next, isn't it? Next week or next week, but one?
Is it 25th?
Yes. By now, we should all be talking about it. Let us show up. But people will be like, oh, when is it? Which films are showing? What is it about? Like, people are still at that baby point of, what is it? How do I get in? How much? Like, that's information that should have started in, like, February.
Can I make a constructive suggestion, like an offer? There are
lots of offers that have been
away from the 7 million, 30 million. No, but, like, seriously, I think we're one of the only film review podcasts active in Uganda. We could review the films that are going to be screened at the UFF if the filmmakers, trusted us with the screeners. We won't sell them down in Owino, don't worry. But we'd love to review some of the films, and that could be something. But I'm just giving this as an example of let's do more active engagement. By the way, I'm not one of the haters, I'm just watching UFF grow with admiration, and I hope it really goes up to the level. They won't be going to Cannes, they'll be coming to Kampala. That's what my hope is. And thank you for your input, which is very valuable. And I hope you haven't got upset by us.
No.
Interrogating you.
No, I think at the end of the day, like I said, I keep saying this. I'm not representing the organizers of UFF, but I'm positive about what we get out of this. And I always love, because some of these conversations, the difference between here and the other settings is here there's camera rolling, you understand? It's being recorded. But these conversations are out there and people are talking about them. So the thing is, it's about how do we embrace this? How do we make this a stronger platform? And how do we actually get to celebrate it? To make the people actually fall in love with it. That's basically what I'm excited. I think I want to go back to ZIF this year. The last time I was in ZIF, my film was, I think it's the same year, 2013.
Ken's, yeah.
Yes, 2013. No, I went 2014.
Keep following.
No, I went 2014. His was there a year before, and then I was in UFF in 2013, the year they refused his.
Hey.
I think. So what I'm saying is when I went definitely to ZIF, to Zanzibar, Stone Town, you'd feel like you'd see the vibes of the festival. And now this is very many years ago, over 10 years ago, you understand? You'd see that there's something big happening. Of course, Stone Town is not that big like Kampala. You understand? It means there's a lot to cover. By that time, it wasn't that big. But of course, when you moved on the streets, you were able to see that there were billboards that were talking about the ZIF of the year. They were talking about, you were seeing posters around and all that. Of course, we need to have a way of doing these things. And I know definitely the organizers see the things we see. That's the matter of fact. Yeah. Sometimes we have to understand that actually these guys are in for the good of us, and they're not trying in any way to fail whatever we're trying to achieve. They are more of how do we actually get it to the best platform. I know very many filmmakers who got films into Kalasha this year, and UFF actually, UCC, sponsored their travel to go and attend the festival. And it was a big thing. And of course, many of them I know when I saw the photos, the president was the guest of honor, which means this is a big thing, man. Yeah. I know when you travel for such events, you get excited. You feel you want to see things happen in your own country. And of course, I believe, I made a post the other day of, I can't wait to see them come to Uganda and experience what we have to offer. Because at the end of the day, it gets us growing.
And Kenyans love Uganda because we got cheaper beer and more relaxed nightclubs. I'm trying to say this.
No, I'm thinking
above the watershed.
I'm thinking about the fact that when we are selling, when such guests come into the country, we need them to feel every aspect of us.
I'm teasing. Of course, you're right. And I think there's elements of clear difference between the Kenyan and Ugandan film industry, which are positives, So the Kenyans have got certain things that we haven't got, and we've got things they haven't got. Well, that would be a subject for another episode. Before we go, I want you just to quickly tell us, in a nutshell, about Front Row podcast and what you're trying to achieve with that, and what's its contribution to the dialogue.
Oh yes, the Front Row podcast. It's a space which is basically pushing the film industry. It's produced by Cinema UG, Andrew Kagwa, Jessica Himbisiwe, Dr. Jessica. So what we are up to is basically creating platforms which have not been given to us by mainstream, because. I come onto this because I had a movement which is #making UG Films Famous, which I've been running for the last, I think, 10 years. Yeah. And the purpose was we have lots of good things going on in the industry. And the truth of the matter is, these good things, we even share them with the mainstream, but they don't want to actually put them up. You understand? Because they do believe we are competing with the music industry.
Yeah.
Yet we are not. You understand? When there is positive news happening in the film industry, we somehow have to pay them to have stories run. You understand? And I kept telling myself, you know what? I'm going to create the space. I'm going to push my platforms. I'm going to build following. I'm going to build every possible way to make sure that I am the go-to for the Ugandan film news. And I've tried so much to do that.
You've done it, man.
Yes. So when there is an event, and I keep telling guys, if you're in the film industry and you have a film event going on and I don't post about it, no one knows about it. Because the questions have been, if Benda doesn't know about it, who knows about it?
Yeah.
And that's something I've intentionally tried to do. Now, when I got into the partnership and collaboration with Cinema UG, you've been talking about collaborations. It was more about how do we get this space and push it. Because the vision with Cinema UG and the Front Row podcast was, it's basically talking about film, Ugandan film, guests who are Ugandan film members, guests, people who are premiers, producers, actors, etc., policymakers in the film sector. And then, of course, Andrew Kagwa, he's an arts journalist, and he has been covering film for as long as I don't even know. He has written reviews, he has been a critic, he has been a jury member, you understand? And when we come together, I bring my side, he brings his side, and then we bring the guests along. So what we're trying to achieve is to actually make sure we have eyeballs to the film industry. If someone is new to the film industry and I don't know what is going on, we're trying to tell them there are so many good things going on. There are so many good things going on. You just need to look in the right direction. Because the truth of the matter will be, we're not going to be everywhere. And film is hard to sell. It's not like a song. A song, you have a trend, you go out and everyone is dancing, the challenges, and before you know it, you know the chorus of the song, you don't know the entire song, but it's trending because of just the chorus, you understand? Film, there's something different about it, especially film in this part of the world, where everyone is struggling to make sure they compete with the other options of entertainment. There's football, there's social media, you understand? There are foreign films which are cheaper and better made, you understand? At the end of the day, I would not say that people are not doing their best. I would say people are doing their best to make sure they get films and projects to the people.
Yeah.
The problem is, of course, the atmosphere is still not yet as conducive. We have challenges of, you'll find that other platforms that are having bigger catalogs are cheaper.
Yeah.
You understand? For example, if we talk about Netflix, at the lowest package of Netflix, you'll have a lot at your exposure, which is better made content than you having a package on maybe a local platform, streaming platform. You understand? So which means someone is like, so does that mean I have to pay for all these packages? Or I have to subscribe to all these platforms? And then you will also still find someone who will say, you know what, yeah, our films are good, but not many are good. So if I'm going to pay for a monthly subscription, I should be able to get good throughout.
Yeah.
Or else I got Netflix.
Yeah, we had a really good chat with Kennedy Kahiro.
Yes.
And I think that, my concluding remarks for today are like, you're such an important part of the equation because, if you think about the industry as like, a table that stands on legs, one of those legs is promotion. And that's something I think, despite being a good actor and, great actor and a key player in the industry as a creative, you've emerged as this guy who has taken it on his shoulders to go like, no one else is doing what needs to be done. Let me do the needful. And like on her side, like Jo has come out as a reviewer, and I would say like, she's one of the most popular film critics in Uganda in terms of like just talking directly to people on social media. Like Andrew Kagwa is a great film critic, but he's like more in the classic mold of like being a press affiliated film critic, also equally important. But, like you guys, for me, what's exciting to have you at the same table is in your own way, you've been pushing film through promotion, which is, I think, one conclusion that we can come to, whatever else we disagree on. And poor Kenneth isn't here to defend himself right now. He had to leave early. But I think one thing we can all agree on is like promotion, publicity is like the missing component, I think, that will make Ugandan film great again, or great for the first time. So that's my concluding remark, is that we need to do better promo, and you are doing fantastic work in that. So thanks a lot for coming on The Real Africa and representing. Yeah. And I'm going to make sure I keep watching Front Row. My only critique of it is I need subtitles for the Luganda.
I was going to
Yes.
because when I saw it on Twitter, I was like, wait, why are we... Okay, I like Luganda. My Luganda isn't that fluent to have a full conversation. I will always change back to English. Then I will say some broken. But some people...
Yes,
are lost.
They want to,
We want to
just
understand
put
what
subs.
you're saying.
I like hearing the Luganda, but my Luganda is at primary level.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I do understand. It's something, we were running a podcast more of more conversational, like how buddies sit around, and me and Kagwa have this rapport.
Yeah.
Where even before shooting, we talk about certain things, and we're like, man, would have been running the camera there, because there's a lot now. So sometimes we end up flowing into the Luganda, but we have also realized we have people watching beyond even Uganda. Yes. So which is something we're actually trying to address. But of course, we also know there are lots of people we are targeting who are the local filmmakers, the local audience that actually don't speak English. There are so many.
So why don't you do like subs?
I think that's what we're going to go into. But of course, we usually mix English and Luganda. Sometimes you might have a guest who is predominantly English. You understand?
Like,
then you have a guest.
Memories of
Natalia.
Love.
Yes.
Memories of Love. Yeah.
Yes.
It was in English.
Yes. Then you'll find that you have a guest who is actually Luganda major. You understand? So which means you go down that path. And then you find that sometimes the biggest part of actually this industry is actually not English speaker.
Okay, so what I'll do you a deal.
Yes.
I'm gonna VJ in English your Luganda episodes, and then we'll get Kenneth to VJ Luganda. All right,
I love the way you think. I can't make that decision on my own, but I do love the way, because at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is the questions that have been going around of why do we have Ugandan films in bad English?
Oh yeah,
You understand?
They would rather be in Uganda,
Yes.
you know?
Keep it real.
Have you
Yes.
film? For example, one of the guys who have been nominated for, I've seen some guys who have been nominated in the UFF or the festivals basically, and they're performing in their local dialect. And when you watch them and how natural they are, it's amazing. And then you hear some lines in English and they just put you off, because you feel like, why did he try so much? Even emotions don't come out when someone is trying to understand the language they're trying to speak. So I feel like at the end of the day, we're trying so much to draw the line between how do we balance our market, because our target, depending on which episode also, there are episodes that we're pushing out to the general public.
Yeah.
And there are episodes that are basically meant for the filmmakers, because we're dealing with a policy. So we don't want everyone understand what we're talking about. So that's how we end up flowing in different ways. But yes, we understand. We are trying to work.
No worries. But look, it's been a real honor and a pleasure having Kasule Douglas Bender on our show for the first time, maybe not the last. And we want to welcome all our listeners to follow Front Row podcast, whatever language you speak. My Luganda is not great, and I still watch it and get a lot out of it. So it's really been an honor to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Glad I could introduce you to the team.
I look forward to